name is that from Thorin?
Obviously, I already had my Game of Subs ages ago today, so here's a flavour you might not have heard of. It's called Goof Juice. And as you can see, it's in a collaboration with that half-wit cretin called fucking Moist Critical, Charlie. So, luckily, here's the thing. It's still a good flavour. It's strawberry and kiwi. So, if you don't know, that actually blends very, very well because you have the sweetness and then you have that sort of, I don't even think that, personally, I don't find kiwi that sour because if you have a ripe kiwi, it can be quite sweet actually, but I find they do blend well together. In fact, if you're American, surely you've tried that s1mple flavour strawberry and kiwi. It's one of the better ones, isn't it? I actually think, by the way, this is like an ad for another fucking drink now I don't even sponsor by. I actually do think some of the s1mple flavours in America are actually delicious. Some of those really are very pleasant blend. So you can always get 10% off everything on the Game of Subs store using what code? You guessed it, my alias Thorin, Thorin. This is one of my favourite types of thread on Reddit. Because you know on Reddit, everyone is a snarky, know-it-all prick who acts like everything they do is like correct and cool and intelligent and rational, and everyone else is a moron and only they understand everything. But then when you actually see what their actions show, they're drooling, brain-dead, knuckle-dragging, cretinous half-wits. So here's an example. You know, if I was to do like an incredible interview with a great player, it might not even get onto Reddit. And if it did, it'd be like 75% uproar because people are downvoting. He's a bad person. He shouldn't be in the community. Well, they didn't ask this question, I thought. But then someone will just do a post. And League of Legends, by the way, a classic one. Anyone who knows League of Legends Reddit is going to know exactly what I mean when I say this. Every fucking 3 to 6 months, there's a thread that goes, hey, I'm new to League from Dota and I'm just starting. That thread goes to the front page because what it does is fucking like tickle the fucking ego. It rubs the ego of the dickheads that are on that sub. They're like, well, glad you came to the experts. Let me tell you what League's like, even though that's the most dog shit, least value thread ever. So similarly, this thread has 1,570 fucking points. Do you know how insane that is versus actual pieces of content? Now let's look what the thread is. It's the most self-indulgent, absurd fucking thread I've seen in years. A request to CS casters. I imagine, even though it's probably a very small minority, pause, immediately the thread is a waste of fucking time. You yourself are going to acknowledge that what you're now going to use Reddit to try and publicly request of the commentators of the game, who are commentating the game for like 500 to 1 million viewers, is what is a very small minority might want in the game. You want to change how they talk to 1 million people so that a small minority gets something they want. Are you already out of your fucking god? But let's go. Even though it's probably a very small minority, that I am not the only person who consumes a lot of CS content audio only. Pause. You know what? I'll give you one little olive branch, which is I'm enough of a boomer that when I was a boy, not only did you have to have Sky Television and I was poor, working class, so we didn't have Sky Television to watch football matches, but also even then they wouldn't show all the matches. So one of the ways I did used to actually follow football and Liverpool Football Club, the one I support, is I would listen to the radio. I'd get in bed and I'd put the radio really near to my ear, so I'd have to have the volume loud. If it was late at night, I'd put the volume up. And then I'd hear it, it'd be like the, John Motson, like, and here he is coming up the field. Oh, he passes over to, and Rooney scored! Well, that'd be if Man United was playing. Right, anyway, and I used to, in my mind, theatre of the mind, imagine the game. But that's because the tech was in the fucking 90s and I was poor. Bro, it's free to watch streams and you can watch in the highest quality, and spoiler, CS can't be fucking audio dictated, can it? It's obviously something you have to watch. If you had to choose which you'd take, would you rather have no audio or no video? You'd obviously take no audio, wouldn't you? Some people even lie and say they mute the casters anyway. You don't. I mean, I have to do for my live views, but you don't. So the idea that we're actually going to go, I like to watch CS. Oh, sorry, did I say watch? I like to enjoy CS by only listening to it. So request to the commentators, please cater to me who isn't watching the screen. Like, you've actually already, not only have you lost your mind, but who the fuck is upvoting this to 1570 with 96% upvoted? What's going on? What the fuck is going on? Now get ready for the rest of this. And the rest of the fucking thread, it's so mental. It's so absurdly mental. It goes, personally, due to the region I live in, I pretty much can't catch any matches live. Pause. You can just fucking watch the game anytime you're off. The VODs are free within hours, and you can just go and watch them. In fact, Twitch VODs are immediately available. This is such an insanely entitled request. It's mental. Just ruin our casting by just like describe. Oh my god, he pulls his gun out. Oh, it's jammed. What are we even asking for? So let's keep going. He goes, I can't catch any matches live and will listen to the VODs like a podcast while I'm at work. He doesn't even watch CS. He doesn't watch it live because he can't. And then he's not even watching it live. He's making a request of what goes into the VOD, which he could just schedule into his time if he cared to watch it. I'm guessing he doesn't only work and sleep and eat. I'm guessing he does have free time. He just spends his free time watching dog shit like Invincible or something. Or fucking Attack on Titan and going, oh, this is sick. And they go, oh, I wish I had time to watch that CS game. Scrawny, will you just like explain what happened when Astralis played Peyton and ruin the rest of the cast for the 400,000 people watching? Let's keep going though. I have watched and listened to a lot. Oh, wait, you can watch live sports. You do watch sports though. You don't just listen to all sports though. I have watched and listened to a lot of live sports in my life, and I've only ever had problems keeping up with CS. Because it's fucking first-person perspective, you cretin. You can only describe as a caster the body of where he's moving. Like, he gets through the defense, he's going through the A-gap, oh my god. In this scenario, you're seeing his fucking POV. Oh, look at that spray from Donk, it's on the head. Like, fucking hell. What would you even describe it as? Like, oh, Donk doesn't quite have the crosshair on, he flicks over 4 degrees to the right, they start spraying, it's a 3-bullet pull-down technique, gets a second kill, the headshot. Like, that would be so fucking whack. It would be so bad, wouldn't it? But let's keep going. I imagine that's because, unlike traditional sports, they don't come up through radio. Right, the reason why CS doesn't translate to audio, guys, is because our casters didn't start on radio sound. Remember, 96% upvoted. Every time Reddit makes fun of someone, this is who Reddit is. This is the consensus. My request is as follows. Please say the scoreline a little bit more often and refer to the team/players by their names and not just they/he a little more often as well, right? It's so mental. So when there's a round, right, that's like, Cadian's going to be going for this 1v4 here. It's very unlikely he can get it. He's going to move around. He spots him. He pulls back for his team. They're hoping he does it. He's like, whoa, guys. Beep. Beep, beep, back it up. Please say that following thing like, Cadian here with the clutch. Cadian's going to go for it. Cadian moves forwards. Cadian pulls back. Cadian's team watches Cadian and hopes Cadian's going. Can you see how that would actually ruin the whole fucking thing? In fact, the people watching, with their eyes, because it's a yes, would just be like, shut the fuck up, say Cadian. Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Please do my video broadcast as a radio feed, please. Like, it's so mental. It's so mental. Get ready. Nothing over the top. It's already not over the top. So just keep it the same, yeah? It's pretty listenable as is. I can't take this. I can't. Please. Oh, please. I don't think it'd be listenable at all. You even admit it's pretty listenable. Well, why are you fucking complaining? And why is everyone up for this shit? It's just easy to get lost while listening on. Yeah, because you can't see anything, you mad fuck. I would have said the other word there, but I've just learned the money on YouTube. I often have to check my phone to keep up. Wait a minute. Please. You know when you check your phone with your fucking eyes? You could just pull up the YouTube app on your phone and scroll back and watch the clip for what you just missed. You mentalist. What are you talking about? And we'll have no idea who pops off in a round. Like, that's not even true. If it is like someone getting a 3K, they don't go, he gets a 3K. They go like, Flammus with the 3 kills. Like, that's not even true. Thanks. Now, if that wasn't absolute insanity already, let's just see the fucking upvoted comments. This suggestion is quite valuable. Please. Please, this is opposite day or something. Please, you have to be trolling. That can't be real. It isn't valuable. It's only not valuable. It's absolute shit that would ruin the value of the real stream. Why? Get ready for some more dog shit. I like this suggestion. Exclamation. No, not even I like to say. I like this suggestion. I too put the phone down while doing some chores. This will make it easier to follow the state of the right. So now we're going to get our fucking million viewer match and we're going to commentate it like no one's watching the screen and the game itself for people doing chores. And this one's going out to everyone who's painting the fence for Tom Sawyer here, or the Amish making a barn. What, I guess they wouldn't have... No, they have radio, I guess. Maybe they could get radio for fucking blast or whatever. Let's just keep going. Agreed. Well, yeah, sound. I mean, you know what? What? Maybe I'm the one out of touch, guys. Is it me or is it the children? No, it's the children, of course. Sometimes I have to drive, right? We're now going to cater the broadcast to people driving in their car. It's so mental. It's so fucking mad. And would love to be able to just listen in the car. Do you know what you should obviously ask for, you utter fucking lunatics? Don't ask for this. Ask for a third stream or whatever. That's just audio only. Listen, they're never going to do it because there's not enough of you fucking maniacs doing chores and working. So spoiler, it's a waste of everyone's fucking time anyway, innit? This is why football games have casters that cast just for radio. Yeah, it's almost like you should have an audio stream. It's a good suggestion. No, you've just explained why it isn't. Bro, do you know how shit the actual football games would do if they cast it like the radio? It would be terrible. If you don't know, Peter Drury's whole style isn't even to describe the game. He weaves fucking narratives and like fucking adjectives, doesn't he? Jeez Louise. Yeah, that would be great. I do the same thing at work. Just every arsehole, like, yeah, I actually selfishly would like to ruin the whole broadcast because I also can't watch games. Well, I say I can't, I just choose not to. And then in my free time, well, why would I do that? I've already listened to the game. So then I just watch Invincible Episode 3. And Better Call Saul. I suggest taking in some soccer radio casting. They are excellent in painting a picture in your head. Again, you don't see from the POV of the player, do you? Seems like one can always follow where everyone is on the field and what position they decorate. That's not even true, by the way. I can tell you, all you get is the excitement of like, oh, someone had a shot. You actually don't even know. If you ever go watch the highlights of a game you listen to on radio, like, that's actually nothing like I thought there. Because obviously the guy in the floor of the moment's having to describe shit. Especially while mildly occupied, right? So we're going to change the whole broadcast of CS for people who are mildly occupied. You know what? These are the people, by the way, who I actually want pay-per-view. For two reasons. One, I think they just won't pay because they don't value CS, even though they're trying to ruin our experience of CS. And two, if they pay, maybe they can have a fucking audio-only stream. This guy, one of the only people to get it. Traditional sports are just so different because there's only one ball. In CS, the ball could be thought of as guns, which there are 10 around the map, and anyone could make a play, and there's a bomb. Spoiler, he only has 50 points. He has a 50-point. And we're only halfway into the thread, by the way. These people, just hundreds of them. This one, 15, 70. My lord. Remember, this is who Reddit is when they talk shit on actual legends. Here's a good one. When they did that interview, I think it's the one where it was like Fallen and Device talking about AWPing. Was it Fallen Device or was it Fallen Modesty? Wasn't it Fallen Device? I think it was. That ESL segment. They quote Fallen saying, now in CS2, there's some angles we're holding where if they do it peak perfectly, you have no chance. Now, obviously, he's referring to the AWP, which is quite a key factor here, but you just take that into context out because never let the facts get in the way of a good story. Let's get ready for this shit. Surprising he is saying this about LAN gameplay, 263 points. Right, we're now like a year and a half into CS2. Someone is on the subreddit pretending to know about CS2 esports, commenting on an esports thread about Fallen and the Device, actual pros who played the whole game in CS2 the whole time. And he's going, oh, a year and a half. That's surprising. So on LAN, you're telling me there's some sort of a peaker's advantage and it's harder to hold angles. Bro, you either are a moron, haven't been watching the game. Where have you been? Where have you been the whole fucking year and a half? This isn't something new. Online, you have latency, which gives peakers advantage. That's not even why. That's not even why, you idiot. That's why we have peakers advantage on LAN. Yes, the extreme ping will give peakers advantage, but that's different. On LAN, with almost no latency, there shouldn't be any of that. You just haven't followed this discussion the entire year and a fucking half. But here you are, making a dumb comment, and then Reddit goes, up, dude. That's me for real, for real. Yeah, because you are the cretin arseholes who just don't know, who either don't play the game, don't know the game, or can't think about the game. Then people just actually explain to him, but obviously have way less points, basically how it works. And that you just know what the fuck he's talking about. Sound. And that's on LAN. says one of the dumbest fucks of all time. One of the worst trolls ever on this subreddit. Just a dumb fuck. And that's on LAN. Yeah, we know. Are you the guys who've been saying CS2 was awesome and as good as CSGO the whole time? Because I haven't. You know, one of the saddest moments recently was when they did that sit-down interview, another segment from ESL, where it was between Carrigan and Nico. And they show a clip of CSGO. And Nico, probably one of the best players ever for like crisp movements, aiming, tracking. He watches it and goes, it's sad seeing CSGO. Everything looked so crispy in that engine or something like that. Bro, think about how far CS2 is from CSGO that Nico, who, by the way, should feel like fucking Neo in the Matrix after he's awakened, is like, I wish I could sort of control my character in the game like that. Fucking hell. And then they just come in and start doing stupid posts like this. It's so hard to hold an angle if you're 60 hertz and a noob and it's online. 95 points. What? That should be downvoted logically. That's a fucking irrelevant comment to the discussion, isn't it? This is one of the stupidest comments ever as well, by the way. I mean, if people peaked perfectly in Go, you'd have no chance either. That's not even true, by the way. Get ready for why. Because notice up here what they say is this. They go, if they peak perfectly, you have no chance. Right. He says same thing. If you peak perfectly in CSGO, you have no chance either. He's now going to take the best possible, most skilled, insane aimers in CSGO and act like when we say someone peaked perfectly, that means you're also the most skilled as well. So he goes, or are we just going to pretend we didn't seize at rifles like Nico and Xantares, the craziest aimers ever with the AK on T side, peak on ops and destroy them? That's because they're like generational talents with the AK, you fuck. Fallen's basically saying, if like a normal rifler does that against like an equally normal fucking AWPer, then if the rifler just does the peak properly, he wins. Can you see how totally different that is? Oh no, wait, it's Reddit, so that's 388 points. Because what we always have to do is make false equivalences and act like CSGO is equally as good as CS2. If anything, at least peaking actually takes skill. It doesn't, you cretin, because of the peaker's advantage. That's the stupidest fucking part of this. He's not talking about when Nico, as you say in CSGO, would do the perfect jiggle peak, make you bait out or move back, and then insta one bullet you straight to the head with the craziest one tap ever. He's talking about the idea of like, you just wide swing on the guy, and unless the guy can instantly track and kill you, you have such a peaker's advantage, you're going to have like milliseconds extra to just shoot him before he sees you on his screen. Because you're a moron, you get 388 points and everyone agrees that this is totally right. In Go, you'd have people, man, one-way smokes holding you, and you're just supposed to accept that they see you sometimes. If you don't see that, totally irrelevant mechanic to what we're talking about here. Those were the worst things to watch in pro play. Yeah, we're not talking about that though, are we? We're not talking about that right now, are we? I'm glad there's more power to the peaker than the angle holder in CS2. Oh, God. I don't know if you know this. I wrote a whole Substack piece behind the paywall now called Make CS CT-sided Again. If you don't know, the whole reason tactical play is genius on T-side is when it's really hard to play against CTs. Actually, on CT, you want people to be able to play off angles and basically use like positioning as a way to make up for the fact that the Ts can choose how many people attack that site. So typically, CTs are never going to have more than 3 people on a site. The Ts can load up 4 people with feints and then attack 4 on 3. So the way that you offset that is you allow the CTs to have a slight advantage by holding a better angle and getting the first person then dropping back. Or if it's like the pit on Mirage and your electronic, Megist, Cold Zera, you get 2 people, don't you, bait, and then you fucking dominate the game. These people don't even know how fucking CS works or any of the things that make it good. People forget how common one-way is here, and they were gross. We're not even talking now. This is just like, hey, CSGO was worse than CS2. Updates, please. Updates. Updates, please. Mental, innit? Here's a good one. So ZywOo equals Simple's 21 majors. Now, he does because HLTV gave fucking actual MVP, they gave MVPs as if it was a real important LAN to online tournaments in the online era. And they even gave them to ZywOo when he played in an EU RMR because EU was the stacked region. And so even though actually Simple was playing against Gambit, it turned out was the best team in the world, he got fuck all, he couldn't have had MVPs from his RMRs. So you just gave an unfair advantage to Simple. And ZywOo has more online MVPs than Simple does as far as I know. So this comment goes, he also passed in prestige event MVPs. So I covered the prestige events as the majors, Katowice and Cologne. So in theory, in a year, there'll often be 4 of them. There was obviously 3 in 2023 3, because it was the last one in CSGO. So ZywOo has 2 Arena Cologne MVPs. That's true. Remember, he got 1 for second in 2019 to Liquid. 1 Arena Katowice, just got that now. The major, Blast Paris, did get that. Plus Online Cologne. The idea you even put in, plus online, shut the fuck up with Online Cologne, but okay. Then he goes, s1mple has 2 Arena Cologne. That's actually not true. As far as I know, s1mple has 1 Arena Cologne. He has 2018. And then the other Cologne wasn't in an arena, was it? It was just in like a hotel room in Cologne. So s1mple himself, by the way, in my interview, even says he doesn't count that one. So actually, we'll even take one off. He has 1 from that. He has a major, obviously. He has PGL Stockholm. Now, we'll add in, by the way, if we'd been more willing in the past to give MVPs to people who made the final, etc., there could actually have been a world where s1mple also could have had other majors there, just like ZywOo got 1 for Cologne. But okay, so actually, we've got 2 so far. Then we have a no-crowd LAN Katowice. By the way, I'm with you. That shouldn't be a full MVP. That should probably be an MVP with an asterisk next to it. And then he has a no crowd LAN Cologne. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Why is he listing 3 Colognes there? What am I missing here? Oh, wait. s1mple got the MVP. Oh, he's right. s1mple got the MVP for 2022. That's right. The one they lost to FaZe, but he was obviously epic, wasn't he? So we go to MVP awards. Yes, there we go. He got it for Cologne. That makes sense even, by the way. So that's true, actually. Yeah, so okay. Essentially, you have 4 for ZywOo, because we're not counting online. Then you have 3 here and a 4th with an asterisk, right? So essentially, it's sort of 4-4 or 4-3, depending on how you count it. So this guy goes, if people want prestige events to be a serious thing, then clearly the online and no crowd lands can't be included, which leaves ZywOo with a 4-3 lead. Now, there's the problem with that. I agree that not having the crowd at Katowice absolutely could affect the game. But here's where I think it's very unfair. Even though there's no crowd at Katowice, did you ever see who s1mple played in the Katowice playoffs? Like, basically the best teams in the world. Meanwhile, the major that ZywOo won, I'll remind you, they beat Into the Breach, Apex, and Gamer Legion. In the playoffs, in the arena. At that point, doesn't that arena have an asterisk? That is the weakest arena field ever. If you don't know, none of those teams are ranked top 18, I think. So already, at this point, that may as well just be a tie, mate. That may as well just be 4-4. So ZywOo has a 4-3 lead. Also, by the way, it's not about lead. You'd have to actually qualitatively, like I just did, assess each of those tournaments and see which ones were amazing. By the way, you could absolutely still end up that ZywOo as the leader. It's 4-4. All good. I don't really understand this point, so it's kind of a bit bullshit. He goes, not like ZywOo didn't have a chance to win these events. Well, yeah, but the difference is ZywOo did win a real Katowice with the crowd and real team. He beat fucking Spirit in the final. And then he also, at this Cologne one, yeah, his team wasn't good at that time, but like, he won 2 really good Colognes. I mean, MVP rather, obviously lost the one to Liquid, didn't he? Right, Striker on... Wasn't this actually Talking Counter, not HLTV? I think he was on Talking Counter, right? Striker on Kassad. Kassad wants to be a coach. Is it really okay for you to be standing behind the teams 24/7 listening to their comms? I love the way HLTV people like Striker, who aren't really that relevant in the community, will just sort of try and speak for everyone. Like, hey, everyone sit down, children, sit down. Catch a bubble. Now I'm just going to start talking, aren't I? So let's use our 2 ears, not our 1 mouth. Listen to me. Everyone here, listen to me. Who the fuck are you? Just some bozo HLTV hired mate. On your own, you'd have no value. If you made your own YouTube, you get no views. If you only had your Twitter, no fucking views. If you went with HLTV, they'd go Striker who? What, that old fucking Swedish player that used to play for SK like 2007? Straight fire reference, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. But instead, like a fucking, like one of the, like, fucking, what do you call it? Like one of the birds that picks like a flea off the back of a fucking rhino's back, the rhino being HLTV. You imagine you're the rhino. So you're now going to talk down to Kassad. So since Kassad wants to be a coach, apparently, is it okay for him to be standing behind the teams 24/7 listening to their comp? Right, wait a minute. Right, he's not standing behind the teams 24/7, is he, bozo? Secondly, listening to their comms. That makes it sound when he says that, guys, like he's listening like I used to be able to at Flashpoint and Blast Premier in 2020, where I actually had a headset on and I could just tune in to a frequency and listen to the actual comms of the team through TeamSpeak or whatever device they use. When he says listening to their comms, he means stand behind them like 3 meters away. By the way, from the 5th player, if you were stood behind like the second from the left player, the guy who's at the end would be like miles away, and when he's basically, some of his comms, by the way, will even just be to his teammate here or on the fucking TeamSpeak. They're not screaming them all. You wouldn't even be able to hear half the comms. And by the way, this premise is fucking absurd. Always some bozo like this will beg the question, though. So when it comes down here and it goes, he's absolutely right, 449 points. Look how many points this is as well. 96% is a Kassad hate thread, of course. He's absolutely right. TOs need to stop this, as this was a problem with Moses and Yanko too. Just unfair for the teams. Holy fuck. They actually think that Moses and Yanko, listening to the comms during the online era when they worked events, allowed them to be better coaches and have an advantage over then playing against those teams. If you actually think that, you don't know anything about how pro teams operate or how it works. You really think they play the same way every time, and you've heard their secret code, like knowing what the fucking, what was that? Wasn't it like the fucking Patriots that supposedly like filmed Spygate, the fucking, I think it was the Rams for the 2001 Super Bowl. They like filmed what they were doing in practice and then knew what the fucking players were. This would be like if you knew what the cadence was in NFL. It isn't, of course. It's absolutely nothing like that. People change up all the time. The comms aren't even the specific strat outlet. It's like, let's do that strat. They don't like break the whole fucking thing down, you idiot. And then this is an even worse reply. Well, no, it wasn't a problem during time. You're right, it wasn't, but let's see why you get it wrong. Because there were like 4 or 5 competitive teams that spoke English. Well, that doesn't even work, because by your logic, if it actually just was people who are going to become coaches in that language, then they'd have an advantage. So Pimp would hear them in Danish if he was going to become a coach, wouldn't he? Someone in Russian would hear them. You are right. It's an even bigger problem. It's not a problem at all. It's not a problem at all. This is also a shit one. It wasn't a problem, mainly because those two were terrible coaches. Right? I already did my video, guys. Go watch it about Kassad's career. He has the most unbelievably underrated coaching career ever, where almost every team overperforms. And he had the most insanely hard group draws I've ever seen. And he literally worked magic with a Renegades that I'll remind you didn't even have enough. Their best player was Jacob and JKS. Luckily, though, don't worry, I'll actually make a video on this guy one day. Because you know Swanee, because now he said somewhere he's like retired, he's never coming back. He is the most bitter fuck of all time about all other coaches and people aren't his friends, basically. He goes, it is also just annoying to have some people constantly standing close to you. You're not even a player! You're just a fucking demo analyst who they couldn't be bothered hiring another coach after X-Stars. They thought they were going to have to boot Huxley anyway, but then suddenly the team turned it around at Blast World and kept winning an event every few months. So they just kept Huxley and kept you, and then eventually when you stopped winning and they got rid of JKS, they were like, actually, let's maybe get rid of this Swanee guy with his fucking swan neck keeping him in the org and get a real coach. Like, you might think Taz is a bum coach. Mate, I'll guarantee he brings more in terms of like presence to the team than this guy. This guy's a demo analyst. Maybe he was giving him strats, okay. Breathing down your neck. Well, he'd obviously be breathing down your neck because you're the coach stood behind them. You're stood behind them, you bozo. Your players are sat in their PCs. And the idea, by the way, he's just doing stuff like leaning over the top of a thing or standing off to the side. They're making it sound, right? Like I'm Forrest. Why am I saying Forrest? I'm so fucking dated my references. I'm Donk watching our screen, or I'm your kinder, like. I'm watching the screen like that, and then as I turn my head like this to look at my opponent's monitor, like Kassad's massive head with a beard is just like, problem. And I'm just... Fucking, bloody hell. I'm in there. Oh, it's getting tense now. Oh, I can almost feel like the wind. Oh, shit, that's Kassad breathing down my neck. He's not even right there, is he? He's meters behind, or he's just looking over the top of something at the screen. This is so overblown, it's insane. Notice how none of them need like a video of it, by the way. They just know exactly that this must be exact. Because dumbass Striker, a fucking clown at the carnival. Hey, the clown's here. Yay, yay, look at that car, it's a clown car, yay. Hey, Churchill TV confirmed, yay, yay. Fucking hell. Oh, look, someone makes a good point, so that doesn't get many points. There was more context in the pod. It's hard for the desk to watch matches certain times and easier to watch the players. Striker said he watches some technician screens behind the curtain. So what Striker's actually doing, I'll explain how this works, is he has a little petty rivalry with Kassad because Kassad is a much bigger figure than him, even from his sort of region, right? Whereas he, as I said, is just a parasite on the arse of fucking HLTV, the Rhino. And basically... Because he will never be a coach of a top team and will never even be a commentator on it. He'll just be a fucking shitter working for HLTV org, picking off the fucking bugs off the back of the Rhino and then just going like, hey, guest on HLTV, here's like a shit softball question. Oh, you didn't answer it. Well, guess we'll move on to the next bullshit. Chat wants to know, is your dick 5 centimetres or 7? Now, to be fair, that's actually an out-of-pocket joke. They don't say that on HLTV Confirm. It would just be more entertaining if they did, wouldn't it? So he's just mad now. Like, I get to watch on a technician screen, but Kassad might be a coach one day. So he should have to watch like the fans on the thing. Shut the fuck up. By your own logic, if it was really valuable, it would make him better at his job now. Spoiler, if he becomes a coach in 6 months, do you really think any of this shit applies? Shut the fuck up. Let's have a 65-point upvote, just to make sure it's actually a hate thread. Let's just abandon even the discussion and just get updates for hate. And fighting with people on social media like a fucking teenager on too much sugar. Yeah, has anyone ever used Twitter before? The only people who fight on social media are teenagers on too much sugar, right? It's not, everyone in politics, everyone in sports, everyone in music, everyone in gossip and entertainment, everyone in esports. It's just everyone in it. It's just everyone. Everyone does it. I always say Twitter brings the worst out of people. Then here's one where this gets 251 points. The scene would be better without Kassad in general. It wouldn't. It would literally objectively be worse. Do you know why? And except for if you don't like him on broadcasts, which, okay, fair, you can have your own opinion. Except when he's on broadcasts, he doesn't detract anything. He only adds, doesn't he? So you can choose to block him on Twitter. You'll never see his tweets. You can choose to see a Kassad thread and not click on it and grow into it. You can do something else with your life. So that way, the rest of us who do like Kassad and find it very interesting and insightful and spicy, we can enjoy it and you can enjoy not having Kassad. But no, to a dickhead, you must also, like every anime and movie and game you don't like shouldn't exist so that we can't enjoy it and have it because you don't like it. Because remember, the whole world's just about you, solipsistically, you fucking idiot. The sheer irony of a massive hate thread replying to a hater comment, implying Kassad is literally a net negative add to the scene, going, I don't mind the scene having a hot takes figure. Oh, don't you? Well, go ahead, sir, tell us more. But Kassad is straight up hateful. What's this fucker? Just for the sake of it, while backing up with no insightful takes. Kassad has some insanely insightful takes. He's had some mega fucking takes. Only thing I like from him on desk is he asks community-rumoured questions with no... These people, it's like when they said Sponge stole their idea from Reddit, if you don't remember that famous meme. These people are so stupid. They really believe that, like, the analysts read their threads and comments and then go, that is a good point. I'll actually ask that. It's the other way around, you dumb fuck. You've got the cart before the horse. They say insightful shit. You go... like a grab bag, pick a mix. You go, I'm going to say that's my opinion, and I agree with that, so that's also my opinion. That is a good point. So I've always thought that. And then you now go, you're stealing my idea. It's like that fucking Bill Hicks, Dennis Leary jokes. Like, yeah, I did steal his jokes. I just happened to do them before he did. Most useless controversial figure in CS. By the way, he's not trying to be controversial. He's just being himself. It's just, you're so used to shill, sellout piece of shit losers. And even some of the current analysts who read your threads and try not to upset little babies like you, that as a result, you think an authentic person is a fake person trying to make you mad because the whole world's about you and your response to stuff. At least Thorin and RL have some value. By the way, I don't know objectively how many people who aren't players who've added more value to the Counter-Strike scene than me, being I was here the whole time, right? Even ran leagues, giving out millions of dollars, did all those majors, didn't I? Bazillion articles, videos, interviews. But no, I just have some value. Some value. What value do you have, you fuck? Get out this community. This is funny though. Now HLTV cares about conflict of interest. If you don't know, a shitter contrarian take that Striker used to take, because Bozo thought conflict of interest wasn't a big deal, was he would always just argue. I think he's one of the idiots that argued that like it wasn't a big deal for that Fragadelphia tournament to have multiple evil genius teams in the same tournament, potentially playing each other. They would say, why is that a big deal? It's like, you can't see the recipe for disaster. This is your moron. Another Kassad hate thread. So when he makes this comment towards the players, which was a straight banger, he just goes, the teams that complain, they didn't complain about Kassad, by the way, the main complaint I think about Pimp because he was recording. The teams that complain to ESL about talent, standing in the side, outside the booth, not talking. Oh, so they're outside the booth, not breathing down their necks, like Dickhead Swanee said, who isn't there, by the way, and doesn't know what the setup is like at this tournament. He's just going, I used to be at tournaments, and I didn't like it when people stood behind me, not a player, and here's what I think. No one gives a fuck, mate. Get back in a demo. Outside the booth, not talking during the last few rounds. Oh, so not 24/7, like Striker said. Just during the last few rounds to watch the end of the game. Who do you think you are? Great point, by the way. You're just a player. Just fucking play. Shut up and dribble, dickhead. Look at your screens and focus on the game, dickheads. By the way, straight fire. And when you're actually a veteran and as respected as Kassad is, you can say that. You know that whole thing, everyone deserves equal respect and love. Well, first of all, you don't give it to Kassad and me and all the rest of us, so shut the fuck up. That's a bad faith argument. And secondly, actually, everyone doesn't deserve equal love and respect. Do you know how you get love and respect? Either through a direct relationship you have with someone, or you actually earn it. So you know how Kassad did all that coaching, I said, then did loads of events and brought people through his scene and helped those. Even recently helped a whole bunch of players who are now in that BC game team, qualifying IM Dallas, etc. He did all that, but no, he never gets any respect or status, so he can't ever say anything. But you, a random shitter on Reddit, you have all the respect, and I've totally lost respect for Kassad. Mate, that's like saying, I will no longer be donating 1,000 Zimbabwe dollars to Thorin's Patreon. Mate, it's worth nothing. It doesn't matter if you donate it. It's not even 1 cent. I don't even know if that's true, but I think it's a very low amount. So here we go. Let's go down a bit. Let's go down. Not sure which team complained, but I remember I did find it weird that Talent was just walking around during the last few rounds. But why though? Notice he didn't say, and it distracted the players, or it seemed like maybe it was bothering them, or someone looked around. Just he, on screen, goes, I didn't really like seeing Kassad in the background. Who cares? Not only who cares, but 490 points. Then one of the shitters. By the way, always on Reddit, on the League of Legends subreddit, always do your duty and downvote every hooligan post. On the CS Reddit, always do your duty and downvote every wonderful post. They're just the most brain-dead dickhead know-it-alls, and they live on Reddit. Their whole lives are on Reddit. As far as I know, at least the hooligan dickhead was there forever. This guy came along 5 minutes ago out of a dick, and he already's trying to tell everyone how the scene works. Yeah, same. It's distracting for me. As if it's even vaguely distracting to see your head in the background when you're looking at the player cam. It's such a fugazi take. Here's the dogshit one. Another one that you should always do your duty, as Richard Lewis tell you, and downvote. This guy here. 99 points. Thanks, Keemstar. Now, I'll give you this. He does look like Keemstar, but he's not at all like Keemstar, the personality, is he? We're all really interested in your opinions, says a guy obsessively posting about Kassad's opinions in threads about Kassad that are on Reddit, super upvoted because they hate threads, because everyone's obsessed with Kassad and what he thinks. But let's all pretend we're too cool for school while obsessively talking about, at least I'm not obsessed. Keep up the angry boomer energy that everyone... No, you're doing like angry shitter energy, by the way. You're a moron. Doesn't seem like something that needs to be discussed in public. Well, why is your comment something that needs to be discussed in public? Can you explain that? Oh, can I not turn the withering gears onto your bullshit? Here's a good one. The actual facts aside, right. So even if Kassad's factually right about everything he said, which would make it totally fine point, and we can just leave it there, can't we? No, let's just put the facts aside. Basically replying, he essentially is basically replying, I'll give you that. Fuck off, dickheads, to people which your industry is built around. It's just dumb and unprofessional. The irony of that is, by that logic, for this fan, he's now calling Kassad dumb and unprofessional when Kassad is someone also that the industry is built around. It's not just players, is it? And spoiler, let's say it was Mouse. It wasn't. They said earlier it wasn't them. Let's say it was Mouse who complained. So our whole scene has to exist only because of those specific Mouse players and team and their exact okay? If Mouse wasn't there, we couldn't have an industry. The whole tournament's just over. Kassad wouldn't be there, I wouldn't be there. No money, no viewership, no... What a fucking bad faith argument. It's desperately clinging to relevance while trying to follow the toxic and divisive social media meta, says someone in a toxic and divisive manner, shitting on Kassad for 38 points. And I'll explain it for the millionth time. He's just desperately clinging to relevance. That's not how it works. If you're someone that no one cares about anymore, celebrity, fucking movie star, former sports star, if you have no relevance and you have none left, it's absolutely not the case that you just saying random bullshit gets you attention. Because to get the attention, you have to be relevant. That's why what you say then becomes relevance. Your relevance transfers to the statement. That's why it matters. So if Kassad was irrelevant, this thread wouldn't even be upvoted. It'd actually be downvoted, and there might not even be a thread on Reddit. So as a result... Put it this way, I'll give you an obvious example. By the logic of what they post on Reddit and talk about, Kassad is literally more relevant than Sponge. Because Sponge doesn't get as many threads because you like him. Do you see how relevance works, you fucking imbecile? This isn't Billy Bob 122 on Twitter says he thinks you should be able to walk around. Irrelevant fuck trying to just say something divisive to get my attention. No, he has your attention because you have an enormously parasocially driven fucking opinion and emotional reaction to Kassad. Hence why you have to come into this thread and have a conversation about everything he said. Who do you think you are? He's actually like a legendary coach who's done loads of stuff in the scene and even knows most of those players on a personal basis. Will even be meeting up with them at the event, talking to them, having drinks with them. You're just a shitter on Reddit, but you get 202 points for that. LMAO, they're literally the reason he got a job. They're not literally the reason he got a job. Right, when ESL came to hire Kassad, did they go, well, Kassad, no need for an interview, of course. What we've done is we've looked online. It turns out that Mouse Sports has a roster in the tournament, and they will be on PCs in the tournament area. So you're hired for the event. Welcome in, and take a seat over there. That's the only reason you've been hired for the job, because Mouse is the ones playing. Because the players that complained are playing the tournament, not Mouse again, I'm just using that as an example, you now have a job. Oh, wait, is it not because of that? Is it not because like he's a former coach, he's really smart about the game, he actually has his own opinions, he has the balls to state them, he'll give contrary takes to other people, cause a little bit of spice on the desk? Oh, it's none of those reasons that he was hired. No, it's just because players play the game. Spoiler, let me just explain to pro players if you're listening. If you ascribe to this thinking, you are a fucking dimwit and you weren't there in the scene, so sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up and listen to me who was. You are aware Donk, Monacy and Nico could practice the exact amount of hours they currently do. They could attend similar events and perform exactly the same keystrokes and mouse movements as they do now. But if the year was 2009, they would make, I'll go player for player, Monacy and Donk would make something like €500 a month, and Nico would make something like no dollars a month because Bosnians were irrelevant in 1.6. So they would play identically the same and make fuck all money. But how's that possible? They're the only reason anyone has a job in the scene here. Oh, wait, is the rest of the scene being huge based on things like how Valve did fucking skins and gambling? So then there was loads of viewership came. Then the Twitch and streaming era where you have Twitch with really good discoverability and everyone knows where to go to watch it. Then we have amazing broadcasts with casters that ape real sports. Then we have like Intel as a sponsor and giant companies. And we have different crowdfunding methods. We have all these things due to the industry itself even growing and multi-game orgs, all this sticker money, everything, all that. But no, it's just because Donk really shoots hard that we all have a job and this all exists. If a fan isn't glazing themselves, giving themselves the Glock 4000. Holy shit, they use pro players' dicks like a fucking straw where they're hiding from fucking the Gestapo in a river and that straw leads to the surface of the river and then they breathe air through it. That's what the pro player's dick is like. Not even any specific pro, just every pro's dick. Until, of course, that pro disagrees with something they don't like and then that pro's a moron, salty and doesn't know anything and isn't the winning the event so his opinion's shit. Logically, it means your opinions aren't even worth anything. Here's a good one. s1mple points out accurately that ZywOo got 3 or 4 MVP awards. I don't even know if that's true. I think he got like 1 from an RMR. But he got some from maybe 2 from RMRs. He got some from RMRs, and then s1mple his RMRs didn't get them. Except that's not what he just says. He points out like how hard his RMRs were, etc. That's just a totally valid factual point about the difference in MVP awards since ZywOo's just tied s1mple for most MVPs. So is Reddit, with this massive upvoted thread, going to actually even try to be charitable to the greatest player of all time? Who, remember, when he insulted me, he was the GOAT and everything he said was right because he's the GOAT. But now, because he doesn't play anymore and everyone's a ZywOo fan, he's a fucking moron because they don't like him. s1mple in his Cristiano Ronaldo arc. Ronaldo was also right about the things he said about Manchester United, about the way things worked with fucking, with some of those bullshit, what do you call them? Ballon d'Ors, etc. But no, what they're trying to imply is like, it's just salty like Ronaldo. I've never understood this comment, so I'll quickly read it. Yes, but when it comes to their play styles, they're opposites. Ronaldo is the pinnacle of athleticism and what is humanly possible. He can do what every other player can at the peak level. Holy shit, that's the most insane comment I've actually ever read about football. Like, I agree with him, by the way. Ronaldo is the peak of athleticism and what is humanly possible. So being as Messi is a human and every other player was a human, you're actually just agreeing Ronaldo is either the absolute best possible, which I think he is, or at least tied. But then you just go, Messi is game-breaking. No. and does things only he does. No, he just is better at dribbling, etc. Right? He has better vision. The idea that like you are directly implying, right, that first of all that Ronaldo is better or at least as good in athleticism and humanly possible. By the way, he's obviously way better. He's way taller, better physical strength. He can head the ball more. He can score with his both feet better than Messi can. He can score free kicks from miles out. He's better at penalties. He's better at loads of stuff. He's just not as good at dribbling and fucking assists. So then you're just going to go, whereas Messi is game breaking. No. You have to use the same metrics. So now explain, because you are implying that Messi is like superhuman or he's above even athleticism. Like simple. Now, what's mental about this is that's not even that good a take. I mean, first of all, is it only simple can do things that break the game? No. Donk breaks the game. I don't think ZywOo does and Nico do, to be fair. To me, it's more like Donk, Monacy, they're the super game-breaking ones. The stupid thing is, I actually think it's always made more sense that Simple's Ronaldo is just insanely good at absolutely everything, but he's a little bit of a diva, and he's insanely hard-working. Whereas ZywOo, like Messi, is more like sort of happy-go-lucky, practices a bit, but has his own style, has his own perspective on how he wants to play the game, isn't always necessarily each season as good a scorer, but he just has the all-around game, likes to help his teammates more. They actually fits way better on Messi, and spoiler, that's not even how metaphors work. You pick the aspect of the metaphor you're applying. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, because spoiler, you know why Ronaldo is nothing like Simple? He's called Ronaldo, he's Portuguese, he plays football. Simple isn't Portuguese, doesn't play football, and isn't from fucking Portugal. So, by that logic, none of them are like him. I'll give you a freebie here. Who is Nico in football then? He goes Zlatan or Neymar might even be better. One of the greats knocking on the door. Now he's just doing his angle here. Went to a big team. By the way, the idea of PSG is a fucking big name too. Shut the fuck up. So here's what I would say. I'll give you the actual Nico football. The Nico football would probably be, I would say Suarez, because he was comparable to, just like Nico was to Simple and ZywOo, but he's not quite as good, or he's only comparable at his absolute peak. He's also insanely skilled. That's a pretty good one, I reckon. It's a pretty good one. It seems that Simple doesn't like the fact that ZywOo has the same amount of MVPs. Yes, because MVPs used to mean you had a LAN MVP from a meaningful LAN. They didn't even give it to all LANs, by the way. So now when you just go MVPs and you count online ones, well, I wonder why Simple has more LAN MVPs. Wouldn't think it's fair that you count some online MVPs. And then even then, that some of the online MVPs he wasn't even allowed to compete in, even though it turns out he might have actually been playing the best team in the world. Yeah, just a salty dickhead like Ronaldo, really, isn't he? Shame that he doesn't like the game either. He does like the game now. He just had literally a war going on in his fucking region, including, I think he comes from Kiev. He had all sorts of shit going on where he hadn't seen his mum for fucking months and months and months and months. His team fell apart and kicked out the Russians and had to reform completely. Then they switched to the game and it was loads of But because he said at the beginning, just like the game, you're just going to speak for him forever. And do a shitty little thing like, oh, it seems like he doesn't like that. Shame he doesn't like the game more, eh? What's that got to do with this conversation about having the most MVPs? Oh, yeah? You and whose army? Well, how about the Skrilluminati for one? They're the people who support my content. This video was kindly supported by The Concept, Matt, Pugnatio, Rajcula, Thooorin, Jensen Goh, Tosh, Jasun, Banediesel, Animosity, and you know it, everyone does. A special thanks goes out to my main man, Jerky's Minion, for the long-term support. Do you want to ask a question for my AMA videos? Would you like teasers? Find out what upcoming guests I've got? You want to suggest a topic or a guest? Maybe you want to be part of one of those 1 hour lengthy online discussions I do where the topics are set by you. Well, if any of these perks or more tickle your fancy, I think you know what to do by now. Put your money where your mouth is and join the Skrilluminati, where Patreon link in the description below.